I'm Betty, and I'm an alcoholic.
Hi, Betty.
oh, this moves. Okay, I won't lean on it. I am currently living in Marion, Indiana, and we made the drive here. It didn't rain a drop on us the whole time here, and we're grateful for that. My home group, actually, can you have two home groups?
Yeah.
I have two home groups, a Monday night group and a Wednesday night group in Marion. And I go to those meetings pretty regularly, and I know the people at those meetings pretty well. And I've made really good friends. Originally, I'm from Southern California. And so I moved to Indiana about 3.5 years ago, and to stay with my daughter and help her financially. Her husband, who moved with her here to Indiana, decided he wanted to use drugs more than be a homeowner and a husband and some of the other things that he had aspired to in the past. And so she was left kind of high and dry financially without his income. And so I moved here to help her out financially, and because I really couldn't afford to live in California anymore. I'm retired. I had a 43-year career as a nurse, and lots of experiences with that, both drinking and not. I guess I need to kind of start a little bit at the beginning. My sobriety date is August 15th, 1980. In the beginning, I was born to a couple of people who really, really loved each other. And they stayed married throughout all of my childhood and all of my adulthood, and then they died. But they were together all of that time. I don't remember my parents ever fighting. They did it behind closed doors, if they did it at all. So there was no violence in my home. There was no drinking in my home. They became Mormons when I was 2 years old, and that wasn't allowed, so my dad quit. My dad was an alcoholic, and he quit. And remained a dry drunk for all of those years until he died at 83. But he did get involved with AA when I ended up sending my 13-year-old into treatment, because there was never a time that he was in his right mind that I could talk to him. So I thought if I sent him to treatment, at least right after treatment, I probably could talk to him. And the seeds were sown for him at that particular time. My life was pretty uneventful. I had 1 or 2 friends in school. I'd pick out 1 or 2 girls that I could be close to, and we had a close relationship. Because we were so busy with the Mormon church, my friends were never church people, and so we didn't have a lot of time to hang out together. And I didn't have a lot of time to get into very much trouble. Then I became interested in boys, and that changed a lot. Then I had plenty of time to get into trouble. Fortunately, I didn't, but I had the time to do it. I met my first husband when I was 13 and married him when I was 16. And we started having a family. And I had 3 children with him. He was emotionally and spiritually and physically and sexually abusive. And after 9 years of marriage to him and 3 kids, I called it quits and came back to California from Utah. That's kind of when I really started drinking. I had my first drink and drunk when I was 2 years old. My parents built a house and had a party, and I went around and emptied everybody's drink that they set down. And so I was, I guess, plastered. I don't remember any of it, but I was told about it. So that was my first drunk. I drank to oblivion that very first time. And I had a drink on my 21st birthday. My grandfather was in the hospital. He had cancer. It had metastasized to his brain, and he wasn't in this world for very long. So I came back to Southern California to take care of him in the hospital. I had my 21st birthday while I was there taking care of him. Stopped in some little, I don't know, bar in Hemet and ordered a drink and a beer, actually. I ordered a beer, and I don't think I even drank half of it, and I was bored, so I got up and left. I didn't know anybody in there, and that wasn't very much fun. So I really started my earnest drinking when I moved back to California after my divorce, and I was in the bars as often as I could get there. I was living with my parents, so there was no drinking at home. They remained Mormon throughout their lives, so that was never an acceptable thing to do. They took care of my kids, fortunately, or I would have lost them to Child Protective Services because I wasn't a very good mother. I was mostly concerned with drinking and partying, and there wasn't very much room for anything else in my life at that time, except I was also going to nursing school. So I had to make a little bit of time for that. And how I passed that and state board exams for nursing, I will never know. That had to have been a God thing. I wasn't recognizing God at that particular time in my life. I wasn't interested in him, and I thought he wasn't interested in me. And so I got to the bars as often as I could, and that got to be more and more frequently. I would go during the week and on the weekend, and Sunday was really a bummer because the bars were closed. And I just didn't know what to do with myself on Sunday, but I dreaded the day. I hated it. I kind of got into AA through the back door. I was going to Overeaters Anonymous, and I did my 4th step, and I read that thing and I thought, the ladies in OA are going to swoon if I read this to one of them. They just are not going to get it, because there were things I did while drinking that ladies that eat too much just don't do. And so I was going to a meeting at the time in Encinitas that was both AA and OA for both programs, and I found a guy who was also an alcoholic, and I asked him to listen to my 5th step, and he did. We walked along the beach, and I read my 5th step to him, and he listened, and he'd ask a couple of questions just for clarification every once in a while. And when I got finished, he turned to me and he said, "It sounds to me like from your 5th step that your problems are a lot more alcohol related than they are related to compulsive overeating." And he said, "I would suggest that you try what is suggested in the big book, that you try some controlled drinking." So I did. I thought, well, I can do that. I can try some controlled drinking. I hadn't really tried it before then. There wasn't any reason to control it. But I did try it then. And the harder I tried to control my drinking, the more out of control it became. It just was ridiculous. My last drunk was on August 15th. I was at a Padres game, and I decided to have only 1 beer per inning. And that was my controlled drinking. That was back in, the late 70s, 80s. It was back in the 80s. So they were still serving 16-ounce beers at ball games. And we found a tailgate party, of course, before then, and we joined the tailgate party, and I probably had a couple of beers during the tailgate party, but those didn't count because I wasn't watching the game. So I got into the game and I started drinking, and somewhere along the line, I lost track of how many drinks I'd had, or whether or not I'd had a beer that inning. And then it became a mute subject. I didn't really care whether I'd had a beer that inning or not. I just kept drinking. It was a Padres game that I was sitting at, and it was a 21-inning game. And I was so sloshed by the time I got out of that stadium. I don't remember the drive home. I don't remember leaving the stadium. I have no idea who won the game, nor did I really care. But that was the end of my controlled drinking. I decided that probably I couldn't control it very well. So I started going to AA, and I found a lady that I asked to be my sponsor, not because she was working a really good program or necessarily had anything I wanted, except maybe my husband. She lived next door to us, and I thought they spent a lot of time at the fence. And so I asked her to be my sponsor, just to keep an eye on her, because I figured, stay close to your enemies. And so that's what I did. She turned out to be a good sponsor anyway, and I'm grateful for that. I'm glad that even though I didn't recognize it at the time, that God has provided for me all along the way. You know, I recognize it now, looking back on it. And now I even recognize when it's happening. But back then I didn't. Never had an accident, never got a DUI. Of course, I was sleeping with most of the policemen in town, and they'd rather do that than take me to jail. You know, it's just a lot of paperwork and stuff. So there were things that I didn't do that I heard other people in AA talking about doing, and so I thought that I was probably a low-bottom drunk. And I kept telling my sponsor that, and she kept laughing at me. I thought that was pretty rude, but that's the way she handled it. And I look back on it now, and what a whiny butt I was. I mean, everything was a crisis. Everything that happened in my life was a crisis. And I'd call her and whine to her for a few minutes. She allowed a few minutes of whining, and then she'd say, have you done the dishes yet? And I'd say, no. And she'd say, well, go do the dishes and then call me back. So I'd go do the dishes, and I think, what a stupid thing to do. Doesn't she realize how important this is and that I'm in crisis? And so I'd call her, and I would still be focused on the problem. And she'd ask me if the bathroom needed to be cleaned, and it always did. And I'd say yes, and she says, well, go clean the bathroom and then call me back. And so I did that too. And she had me cleaning house until I could get out of my own way and off of my own pity pot and see that what was going on wasn't a crisis. It was totally understandable and fixable, and then I'd go on about the rest of my day and do okay. But she did that with me time after time after time. And I just thought that was a really strange way to teach somebody to work a program. When I came to AA, I had no use for God. I had been excommunicated from the Mormon Church for my alcoholic behavior. That included a lot of the policemen in town. And I thought when the church threw me out that God had thrown me out too. And that was a really traumatic thing to me. I felt really bad about that happening, that they would think enough about my behavior to throw me out, to just banish me and get rid of me. And I didn't so much care about the people that were doing it, but I thought God was behind it, and I thought God was throwing me out too. So I searched for a long time for God. And I looked in a lot of the usual places, and I looked in some pretty unusual places. After all, I was in Southern California. So there were lots of choices to investigate and check out. I studied with the Rosicrucian Fellowship for a while. That's a group that are vegetarian and clairvoyant and astrologers. I studied with religious science for a while, but they wanted me to pay for every lesson. And, you know, I wasn't making a lot of money. I was a single mom doing a nursing job. And so I let that go pretty quick because I just couldn't afford to study with them for very long. I went to several different New Age churches where, you know, I was told that prosperity was just around the corner and all I needed to do was change my attitude. Well, you know, I knew that my attitude needed to be changed. I had a lot of trouble with actually doing that. And if I could change my attitude for prosperity, I probably could have changed my attitude for the rest of my life. Also, that was out of whack. I just didn't know how to do that. I didn't know how to change the way I thought. I recognize now that I was born an alcoholic. I had alcoholism from the very beginning, alcoholic thinking from the very beginning. If there was a negative way to think about something, I ascribed to it. If there was some kind of a spin I could put on it, so much the better, made a better story. I lied and cheated and manipulated my way through life during all of my drinking, and for a while after I got sober, until I learned better. My sobriety became kind of a habit. I was going to a lot of meetings. Almost every night I was sitting in a meeting. I went from an alcoholic, neglectful mother to a recovering alcoholic, neglectful mother, which was not great for my kids. Wasn't very good for me either. I wanted to do better. I just didn't know how. I started having them pretty early on, and by the time they were teenagers, I was just kind of getting the wheels running under me, you know? I felt like I was just kind of beginning life, even though I'd been sober for a little while. I was just kind of figuring out life and how to do things and what I approved of and what I didn't approve of. And as I figured those things out, what I figured out also by doing a fourth step and a fifth step with my sponsor was that there were a lot of things I did when I was drinking that I didn't approve of. They were just not the right kinds of things to be doing for a mother of three, for a mother who wanted to find God, for an alcoholic who wanted to stay sober. And so one by one, I began to work steps 6 and 7 on those things. And those glaring character defects that bothered me so much, one by one, got less and less until they were no more. And not to say that I've got it all wired now, because I don't. I'm still very human, and I sometimes make some poor decisions, and sometimes I do some things that are wrong. But it's so much better than it was before. My thinking was so clouded by my ism. I couldn't figure out anything, good or bad. And so I give a lot of credit for who I am today to Alcoholics Anonymous. It's a direct result of working the 12 steps with a sponsor, and of sponsoring other people and working the 12 steps with them, and working the 12 steps until 6 and 7 became kind of a habit also. I sought God, and He didn't make a hard job of finding Him. He was right there all along. I recognize that now. I didn't then. I mean, I never had an accident. You know, how can you drink and drive 5 or 6 times a week and not have an accident in Southern California on the freeways? I don't know, but that's what happened to me. God took really good care of me until I could find Him and figure out how He fit into my life. Now He is all there is in my life. There isn't anything else except the 12 steps of recovery. Those still work for me as well as they did in the beginning. The more practice I give them, the better they work. I moved to Indiana, like I told you, to help my daughter out financially about 3.5 years ago. And I knew from past experience that moving to a completely new area without any friends and only knowing one other person, that I was in for a bout with depression. And I also knew that the solution to that was to go to AA meetings, number 1, and go to church, number 2. So I did both of those things, and I made friends in church and I made friends in AA. And the friends I have now are as close and as good of friends as any I had in California. It's funny how that works. It just, God watches out for me all the time, and I catch Him doing it. I catch Him blessing me in various ways. Between Thanksgiving and Christmas, I wrecked my car. I totaled it. This is a gal who could drive drunk but can't drive sober. Throughout the whole thing, I could see God working in that situation. Nobody was hurt. I hit a car that I didn't even see until I ran into it, and then I saw it, and it was too late. And so I had the insurance company to deal with, and I had to find another car, and I had just a lot of things that were really weighty on me, and I could have gone into a tailspin over that. It would not have been unusual for me to do that a few years back, to just be completely immobilized with fear and dread and anxiety. The way it happened this time is nobody got hurt. That's a good thing. We got the cars towed away. That's another good thing. They took mine to the shop I wanted them to take it to. That was another good thing. Then they told me it was totaled. And so the insurance company has paid me the money that they're going to pay me. They paid off my car that I wrecked, and I have a new car. It's not a new car. I have another car that has less mileage on it than the last year we had. So, you know, God just keeps working in my life over and over and over again. I don't even have to really ask for things. God knows what my needs are, and He just takes care of them. And I appreciate that He does that for me. One of the things I found out when I got here to Indiana was that because I got sober so long ago, I didn't spend very much time on step 6 and 7. It was kind of as brief as what's written in the big book about it. And we just kind of skipped over it because that's what people did. They didn't know what else to do with step 6 and 7. Well, I got here, and like I said, I made some friends, and we started a book club. And we read the Hazelton books on step 6 and 7. And I learned what step 6 and 7 really were and what was involved in those. And I started working step 6 and 7 in my life. And it has made a huge difference in the spirituality of my program. And I'm so grateful for that. I think it's odd that just getting sober that long ago, people didn't really work step 6 and 7. They just didn't. They didn't know what to do with them. But there have been some books written on those steps that have really explained them well and how to do those. And so I work steps 6 and 7 a lot. I don't go back and do very many inventories because that happens with step 10. I have been very interested in getting to know the character of my higher power, which I call God. And so I read the other big book too. And I find that my hunger and my thirst for the knowledge in those two books is just extraordinary. I love reading them. I love studying them. I love hearing them. It makes me feel closer to my God. It makes me feel like I have a real relationship because I know what his character is. And I know what my character is. And I believe he loves me. Anyway, I think that's just phenomenal. I can't think of anything else that I need to share with you folks. I pray that God would put the words in my mouth tonight for somebody to hear that might be interested, and maybe he's done that, maybe he hasn't, I don't know. But I'm done. Thanks.
Thank you.
Is this your water? Years ago, if I'd been alcohol, that wouldn't have been a problem. I'm Kevin, I'm an alcoholic.
Hey, Kevin.
And Betty, thank you so much for making the trip over here and sharing your story. Great story, you know. You were a good alcoholic. You know, sounds like you kind of understood the disease. And, but you know, it's just, sometimes, you know, I don't know, I had a long history of drinking and, you know, just one day, something was different and I didn't want to live that way anymore. And, you know, and today, my life's pretty good, you know. And I'm very grateful for Alcoholics Anonymous because it showed me the way. So, we got a few minutes here. It's customary to open the floor for comment. So I'll just open the floor if anyone has any comments.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, good. Chad, recovering addict.
Hey, Chad.
Great share. Thank you for making the drive down, and it was a good story. I relate to a couple parts in it, especially with you know, being cast out by church. Felt like I was cast out at a very young age, so I felt like God abandoned me, and I didn't have any kind of faith for the past 30 years. You know, 32 years actually. I just recently found my faith right before I found these rooms. And these rooms have helped me a lot, and as they've helped you, and you know, like you said, met a lot of good friends in these rooms. When I come up here, I didn't have anybody either. I didn't have no family, no friends. I just had my wife and my kids, and you know, like you said, it kind of spiraled to depression, which kind of made everything worse for me. Until you know, I finally got sick and tired of being sick and tired, and you know, went to rehab, and then from rehab came to these rooms. And so yeah, I found my higher power, and these rooms have helped me gain strength in my faith, and it continues to grow. Each time I walk through some of these doors, each time I get to see, you know, my compadre. But thank you for sharing. Really, it was a great story, and I appreciate you making the ride and sharing it with us. Thank you.
Who's Jazz?
Thanks, Jeff.
Sean? Well, I'm Jim, I'm an alcoholic.
Hey, Jim.
Jim?
Yeah, I love the thing, and thanks so much for coming over and braving the weather, rain or lack thereof, or whatever it's going to be doing to us later tonight, I guess. I liked a lot of part. I thought what a valiant effort that was to just try and limit yourself to one beer, and I think that was a nice kind of easy way to control drinking. I think I could have gone for something like that, but I'm sure I would have lost track just the same as you. And you gave up on it pretty quick, though. That was admirable. I love the fact that you're consciously aware of the blessings that you receive.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good sign for all of us. And I love that. I don't think I hit that all the time myself, but when I see that happening, I'm glad I do. And I think it's important that I work towards that. Thanks for Thanks, Deb.
My name's Tom. I'm an alcoholic. That was a beautiful way to carry a message. I really enjoyed that. I want to thank you for coming, and can't wait to hear it again.
It'll be different next time.
Oh, good. Well, good. Thank you.
I'm Al, I'm an alcoholic.
Hey, Al.
And Betty, what I got from this is, you had quite a few 24 hours in you before you come to Ohio. You got to Ohio and you said, you probably had 40 years sobriety. Kind of right. When you came here, and it's like, I'm not giving up, I'm not throwing it away, I'm finding a meaning, And that's what it takes, I've heard people, have quite a few years in, think they can go out, and, yeah, I can make it now. And they fail. Most times they fail. Which reminds me, I gotta keep coming back. I don't have a whole heck of a lot of sobriety. 14 months, But, for that, and everybody have a happy new year when it gets here. That's all I'm asking.
Thanks, Al.
Thank you, Al.
Thanks, Al.
I'm Dan. Thank you for coming and speaking tonight. I got a lot out of that. Thank you.
Thanks, Dan.
Thanks, Dan.
Keep coming back.
I'm Andrew, recovering alcoholic.
Andrew.
I want to thank you for coming and for sharing with us. It always reminds me of things that I went through, and I just thank you for coming and for sharing. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Andrew.
Thanks, Andrew.
Thanks, Andrew.
Can I just ask a quick question? What books was it that you read for the steps that they didn't go over?
It was Drop the Rock and then the Ripple Effect.
Okay. I'm gonna have to look those up.
I'm one of her book study partners. That's how I knew that answer. I'm Starla, alcoholic.
Hey, Starla.
And she and I will most likely talk about this lead all the way home, but I want to share with you guys, thank you for being patient and allowing us to show up 10 minutes late. I had to work today and I didn't get out as fast as I thought I could to bring her, so thank you for not locking the door.
No, thanks for coming.
It'll never be locked if I got anything to do with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, when you know who's coming, you.
Oh, no.
If that was true, you watch for me.
You got anybody on the phone who would like to comment?
My name's Les, I'm an alcoholic.
Hey, Les.
Many thanks for making the drive from Marion. I think we probably need to check out all the stuff that's in Marion. I've never been in Marion. I don't know if you've ever been in Port Recovery. Who knows? But that spiritual condition and just keep coming. That's all I got. Thanks.
Thanks, Wes. Keep coming back.
Appreciate it.
Anybody else?
This is Joni, I'm an alcoholic.
Hey, Johnny.
Thanks so much for that. Thank you very much. That was awesome, and I related to a whole lot. And that whole, that step 6 and 7 is an ongoing thing in life. I notice when I do a 10-step that character defects can pop back in real easily if I'm not aware of that. Today I'm lucky that I can be more aware of it and praying away a little quicker. Because when I came in this room, I didn't really see that I had some defects. And lo and behold, my higher power revealed things to me slowly and gently, but I was able to see a lot more things clearly as I worked with other people and things were revealed. So, yes, like our friend Garrett said, it's a school of life and we never graduate. There's always something to learn. So, with that, I'll pass things to Ian.
Thanks, Johnny.
Anybody else? Okay. Well, thanks again, Betty, for coming over, sharing your experience. I could relate to so many different things, even though it was different times, different places, different things. And it just kind of goes to show how we all live different lives, but the disease of alcoholism is so much the same. And, it just, so many people, we all have different experiences, but somewhere along the line, we get lost in ourselves and the alcohol, and it just takes over. And I'm just blessed to be sober today, and have been given the opportunity to get sober and live a life of sobriety today, which is, such a great thing. I had a Christmas last night, and my little granddaughter was there. And, one of the things I'm most grateful for is that granddaughter never seen her grandpa drink. And never seen him drink. And, and that's a miracle, because my kids didn't have that opportunity. But I'm just grateful for a lot of things. And thank you again so much. If no one else has anything, we'll circle up out here at the end of the room and Betty, would you like to lead us in the Lord's Prayer?
Sure. Our Father,
Hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen. Keep coming back.
Work it. Work that, you're worth it.
How long to drive? How long to drive that place?
It's about an hour and 10 minutes, yeah.
Yeah, sure can.
Yeah.
On that, they had a Christmas thing earlier. Oh, I worked the field one day, started working the
Thank
field.
you.
Before it really thawed out.
Ready?
At the end of the day, it clogged up with mud.
You want a phone number?
So, I went there in the morning, cleaned it out, the turbo mags, and threw it this way.
Yeah, that putty stuff.
It's stuck on here forever. I had to wash it up 12 times.
Yeah, we've been sat on the floor for like 10, 20 minutes trying to get that stuff off.
And that was all stuck right in here. Clean good. Good time for the ratio.
They found out who the guy was that jumped in the lake.
Yeah, I just heard about that too, something about that.
I don't think they released his name yet.
I don't know that they didn't, I mean, as of last I heard, they didn't really know who it was.
Right.
I don't know what he was doing though, if they found like a security code decoder in that vehicle, he was trying to get.
He would get that in there,
So it wasn't his first time. He knew what he was doing.
yeah.
How did one of
I
that?
just can't figure out why he wouldn't jump in the lake.
No.
Get rid of,
Yeah.
running from the cops.
Yeah.
Jump in the lake.
And he didn't know it was a lake.
It might not have, yeah, depending on where he's from.
Yeah. Not the wisest of decisions.
Talking about the guy they found in the lake?
Yeah.
That was weird.
That's
That water's been so cold, you last about a minute.
Yeah, that's
You ever jump in water, it's too cold for you, you don't have much time to get
That
out.
was that Jack on off the Titanic cold right there, man.
Yeah.
I remember one time when I was, I don't know, I was a teenager, so, yeah, I was 19, and we was out in the woods and running out and messing around the creek, and it was froze, and got to a point it went through. I went on for about right here.
Yeah.
And, I've always had a thing about walking on ice.
Oh, man.
Hey, how you doing? I'm Kevin.
I'm there.
Dan, good to see you, man.
Hey,
This
Dan.
your first time here, or?
That's it, Dan, I'm Jim.
That's right here.
Where from?
Okay.
That's right. That's right.
I told you up here.
Yeah, how about that?
Was coffee back there?
Jason.
Did you?
Jason said he's on his way over here or something.
Awesome.
This kid had, COVID or something.
I told you it's going around.
Yeah, his whole family got it. I figured about, I think that family had it over about 8 times.
There's coffee back there, there's snacks up there, help yourself.
Want some pizza?
No.
I'm in.
I'm out.
Mario.
Tom,
Tom.
what was your name? Dan, okay.
Press star now, otherwise please wait and you will be joined into the conference.
I'll probably forget. Dan.
Please announce yourself.
Oh, good.
And all of a sudden you start drinking, you don't know why you're drinking, you know, that happened to me, I quit drinking.
Who's that, Gary?
Yeah.
I started drinking. Next thing I knew, my friends turned my parents' house, and I didn't drink. Why did you start drinking? Son, when you started. I can relate to that. My disease was there. My disease was subconsciously in my head all the time. See, we can dance, I stay so, I'll be so the 53 years.
Oh, yeah. Oh, he's gonna jump on the speaker tonight.
Oh, yeah?
On the way up here though, okay. Yeah, cool. Yeah. Hi, it sounds like Gary, you have the meeting here. Hi, Gary.
Yeah, that's,
Who else do we have on the phone?
so you gotta go in and clean it all out and everything?
I did, I said somebody lives out of each building on the left, north.
Oh, you know what, I bet that was the tail end of the other meeting.
Yeah.
Yep, they hung up then.
Hi, this is Chris.
Chris.
I don't know if you can hear me.
Hi, yeah, who's this?
We're in the middle of January, so we'll see.
This is Chris.
Hey, Chris.
When they're small like that.
Hey, Chris. It's Jim.
Hi, kind of this, been 3 days sober. I do like what I'm hearing. I've been off and on for this for years. Trying to decide what to do.
Yeah, you never know what kind of weather we're going to get anymore, if it's going to be.
Hey, Chris, have you been on a meeting? Have you been on a meeting here over the last hour?
No,
Snow we had in December for it.
yes,
Okay, what happened here is there's 2 meetings, one right after another.
Yeah,
And I just dialed in with our new meeting, and that other meeting is coming up.
we have
So, yeah.
Oh, okay, I didn't worry.
There's a 6 o'clock meeting in Salina. And they usually hang up right about at 7, and then I pick up a few minutes early. And we go between 7 and 8. So, sorry for any confusion with that.
Oh, okay, I wasn't.
No, good.
I
Thank you.
didn't hear that, sorry.
Yeah, I just figured out that the other meeting was still on too, because I heard somebody's voice that I recognized from the other meeting. So anyway, bear with us, and here in about 2 minutes, we'll get our meeting here started, okay? And this is a speaker meeting tonight. We're waiting for our speaker to show up, though. He's running a little behind, so.
Maybe better, she's open from around Hartford City.
Gone away, huh?
What's that?
She's gone away?
So she texted Joni. Right through our meeting, she might show up. Sometimes
She'll probably be here, she'll probably come with the woman that gave the lead a while back, Hey, what's up, Jared?
Oh, you made it.
Are
Good.
you here?
Jared.
Hey, Jared.
We talked about the devil when we showed up, didn't we? They said we hadn't seen him for a few days, or been a week or better.
Mine's hard to do, you can't anybody know.
Was Cody by the house for the last couple days?
He was on Friday.
Huh?
Was Cody around for the last couple days?
Wasn't it Friday?
Oh, no, they didn't. Yeah, Friday was Yeah, that's right. Their kids had
Birthdays and stuff.
birthdays, yeah.
Here we are, we got.
Cody was in New Bremen.
Alrighty, I think we'll get this meeting started here. I'm Kevin and I'm an alcoholic.
Hey, Kevin.
Welcome everyone to Fort Recovery Sunday night meeting of Alcoholics Anonymous. And those of you care to, would you help me open this meeting with serenity prayer? God,
grant me the serenity to accept things that cannot change, courage to change things that can, and the wisdom to know the difference.
Alcoholics Anonymous is a fellowship of people who share their experience, strength, and hope with each other, that they may solve their common problem and help others to recover from alcoholism. The only requirement for membership is a desire to stop drinking. There are no dues or fees for AA membership. We are self-supporting through our own contributions. AA is not allied with any sect, denomination, politics, organization, or institution. Does not wish to engage in any controversy, neither endorses nor opposes any causes. Our primary purpose is to stay sober and help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety. And I have a friend out there that has how it works. Looks like Tim.
Tim, alcoholic.
And Tim.
How it works. Rarely have we seen a person fail who has thoroughly followed our path. Those who do not recover are people who cannot or will not completely give themselves to this simple program. Usually men and women who are constitutionally incapable of being honest with themselves. There are such unfortunates. They are not at fault. They seem to have been born that way. They are naturally incapable of grasping and developing a manner of living which demands rigorous honesty. Their chances are less than average. There are those, too, who suffer from grave emotional and mental disorders, but many of them do recover if they have the capacity to be honest. Our stories disclose in a general way what we used to be like, what happened, and what we are like now. If you have decided you want what we have and are willing to go to any length to get it, then you are ready to take certain steps. As some of these we balked. We thought we could find an easier, softer way, but we could not. With all the earnestness at our command, we beg of you to be fearless and thorough from the very start. Some of us have tried to hold on to our old ideas, and the result was nil until we let go absolutely. Remember that we deal with alcohol, cunning, baffling, and powerful. Without help, it is too much for us, but there is one who has all power. That one is God. May you find him now. Half measures availed us nothing. We stood at the turning point. We asked his protection and care with complete abandon. Here are the steps we took, which are suggested as a program of recovery. The 12 steps. 1, we admitted we were powerless over alcohol and that our lives had become unmanageable. 2, came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. 3, made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood him. 4, made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. 5, admitted to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. 6, we're entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character. 7, humbly asked him to remove our shortcomings. 8, made a list of all persons we had harmed and became willing to make amends to them all. 9, made direct amends to such people wherever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. 10, continued to take personal inventory, and when we were wrong, promptly admitted it. 11, sought through thorough prayer and meditation to improve our conscience's contact with God as we understood him, praying only for knowledge of his will for us and the power to carry that out. 12, having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, we tried to carry this message to alcoholics and practice these principles in all our affairs. Many of us exclaimed, "What an order! I can't go through with it." Do not be discouraged. No one among us has been able to maintain anything like perfect adherence to these principles. We are not saints. The point is that we are willing to grow along spiritual lines. The principles we have set down are guides to progress. We claim spiritual progress rather than spiritual perfection. Our description of the alcoholic, the chapter to the agnostic, and our personal adventures before and after make clear 3 pertinent ideas. A, that we were alcoholic and could not manage our own lives. B, that probably no human power could have relieved our alcoholism. C, that God could and would if he were sought.
Thanks, Tim. That was pretty good.
And let me see here, what we got. I think my friend Al has a daily reflection.
Hello, I'm Al, I'm an alcoholic.
Yeah.
December 28th, suit up and show up. In AA, we aim not only for sobriety, we try again to become citizens of the world that we rejected, and of the world that once rejected us. This is the ultimate demonstration toward which 12-step work is the first but not final step. That's from As Bill Sees It, page 21. The old line says, suit up and show up. That action is so important that I like to think of it as my motto. I can choose each day to suit up and show up or not. Showing up at meetings frustrates me too. for still to be part of that meeting. For then I can do what I say I'll do at meetings. I can talk with newcomers, I can share my experience. That's the credibility, honesty, and courtesy really are. Suiting up and showing up are the concrete actions I take in my ongoing return to a normal living.
Thank
Hey,
you, Al.
Sal. And Fred Wayne's gonna read out a daily or 24-hour book.
Wayne, I'm an alcoholic. December 28th, AA thought for the day. AA may be human in its organization, but it is divine in its purpose. The purpose is to point before God in the good life. My feet have been set upon the right path. I feel it in the depth of my being. I am going in the right direction. The future can be safely left to God. Whatever the future holds, it cannot be too much for me to bear. I have the divine power with me to carry me through everything that may happen. Am I pointed toward God in the good life? Meditation for the day. Although unseen, the Lord is always near to those who believe in Him and trust in Him and depend on Him for the strength to meet the challenges of life. Although veiled from mortal sight, the higher power is always available to us whenever we humbly ask for it. The feeling that God is with us should not depend on any passing mood of ours. We should try to always be conscious of His power and dwell in the background of our lives. Prayer for the day. I pray that I may feel that God is not too far away to depend on for help. I pray that I may feel confident of His readiness to give me the power that I need.
Thanks, Wayne.
Thanks, Wayne.
And I think friend Jim, he's gonna read out as Bill sees it.
Yeah, I'm Jim, I'm an alcoholic.
Hey, Jim.
I think the last page that Bill wrote here, it's page number 331, it's called The Great Fact. We realize that we know only a little. God will constantly disclose more to you and to us. Ask Him in your morning meditation what you can do each day for the man who is still sick. The answers will come if your own house is in order. But obviously, you cannot transmit something that you haven't got. See to it that your relationship with Him is right, and events will come to pass for you and countless others. This is the great fact for us. And to the newcomer, abandon yourself to God as you understand God. Admit your faults to Him and to your fellows. Clear away the records of your past. Give freely of what you find and join us. We shall be with you in the fellowship and in the Spirit, and you will surely meet some of us as you trudge the road of happy destiny. It says, may God bless you and keep you until then.
Thanks, Jim.
Jim. And my friend Chaz, he's going to explain the promises.
How's it going, everybody? Chad's in recovery.
Hey, Chad.
EAA promises, if we are painstaking about this phase of our development, we will be amazed before we are halfway through. We're going to know new freedom and a new happiness. We will not regret the past, nor wish to shut the door on it. We will comprehend the word serenity, and we will know peace. No matter how far down the scale we have gone, we will see how our experience can benefit others. That feeling of uselessness and self-pity will disappear. We will lose interest in selfish things and gain interest in our fellows. Self-seeking will slip away. Our whole attitude and outlook upon life will change. Fear of people and economic insecurity will leave us. We will intuitively know how to handle situations which used to baffle us. We will suddenly realize that God could do for us what we could not do for ourselves. Are these extravagant promises? They may not.
No.
They will float among us, sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly. They will always materialize if we work for them.
Thanks, Chaz.
Thanks, Chad.
Very well.
And we are self-supporting through our own contributions. Pays for rent, a building, coffee, books, supplies, everything there. So, let me see. We do have loose leaf literature at the back there. Loose leaf literature is free. The books and hardback books are at what the group pays for them. And loose grapevines, take them, read them, bring them back, pass them on to someone. And you know, it's always good to have a little bit of reading. I have one announcement up here. AA Alcathon Meetings will be held throughout the night, December 31st, 2025, 6 p.m. to 12 a.m. Grand Lake United Methodist, 40 South High Street, that's in Montezuma. Bring a snack and a friend. Enjoy New Year's. Hope to see you there. That's the only announcement I have. Does anybody have any announcements from the floor? Okay. Let me see. We passed the basket. Tell you what, let's just go around and introduce ourselves. I'm Kevin, and I'm an alcoholic.
Hey Kevin, I'm Tom, alcoholic.
I'm Dan, addict alcoholic.
And Dan.
Andrew, recovering alcoholic.
Andrew.
Chad, recovering addict.
Sharon.
Tara, John's wife.
Hey, Sharon.
Hey Sharon.
Clean alcoholic.
I'm Starla, alcoholic.
Hey Starla.
I'm Betty, I'm not alcoholic.
Hey Betty.
I'm Jim, alcoholic.
Jim.
Caden, I'm an alcoholic.
Katie.
I'm Al, I'm an alcoholic.
And who we got out there on the phone?
My name's Wes, I'm an alcoholic.
Hey Wes.
Wes.
Jason, an alcoholic.
Hey Jason.
Jason.
Hey, Jason.
This is Johnny, I'm an alcoholic.
Hey,
Hey
Johnny.
Johnny.
Hey guys, I'm an alcoholic too.
Who?
Katie.
Oh, hey, Katie.
Hey Katie.
Okay.
Great.
Okay. Well, this is a lead meeting, and, oh yeah, we got tokens. Nathan's going to explain the tokens.
Jaden, I'm an alcoholic. Here today, we like to celebrate clean time with these tokens. So if I call your sober time, come up and get a token. Does anybody have 24 hours? 1 to 3 months? 3 to 6 months? 6 to 9 months? There is no 10, 11, or 12 months, but anybody in between 10, 11, and 12 months? 18 months? Anybody with any sobriety time at a year or any year after? A year?
All right.
Anybody else want to get some sober time they'd like recognized? Go ahead. Thanks.
Oh, cool.
Good, Dan. 1 year? That's
I got
awesome.
over a year, I got, from October the 16th of 24.
Okay.
Mine ain't used at all, even when I come out of jail, I never used. I just come to the meeting.
Oh, yeah.
All right, man.
Good deal, man.
Keep going back.
And I went back to my groups.
Keep coming back.
Yeah,
man.
keep coming back.
Coming back.
We need you here.
So, okay, now I think that brings us to what we're here for. This is a lead meeting, and Joni had taken care of this, and she told me that there was a lady coming. Her name was Betty. I don't know if I ever met Betty before, but I think we're going to hear a little bit of her story. So, Betty, would you experience?